that boom. Drop that boom.
So now we're on episode
11. My favorite number.
Why?
You know why I like
10
11?
is perfect, and you're one above perfect.
Oh, why'd you take the words out of my mouth? It don't sound good when you say it, only when I do.
Why do you like 11?
Because 10's perfect and I'm one above that.
Y'all sound like y'all been married.
No.
Too long.
I rent her.
Too long.
I rent her.
Rent a wife.
I rent her. I rent her. Yeah.
I mean, I do. Look, I told somebody earlier, I tried to give him to the lady at the nursing home and she would not take him.
She said I was just too much.
Anyway.
She said she needed a sirloin steak and I was Angus.
All right.
So look, I'm excited. I'm really excited, I'll be honest with y'all. So we're going to interview a lot of people over the next couple of years, and we've done a lot of interviews. But it's very rare I get to bring somebody on that I truly consider a friend. And
You
that's
have friends?
only 2.
Oh, wow.
And half of them are here. But I met this guy years ago. You're going to know him, and you're going to know him from the TV show Moonshiners. But I'll be honest with you, that's the least that I know about this man is his run with Moonshiners. It's everything else that I found out over the years and talking with him, hanging out with him, watching how he treats people. And so I'm really, honestly, delighted to have him on the show. Before I introduce him, I'm going to tell you this. One thing my daddy taught me when I was growing up was if you want to know the salt of a man's worth, I mean his true value at core, you watch how he treats people that can do nothing for them and how they treat children. And that'll tell you everything you need to know about a man. And this guy that I'm introducing, man, this is a guy that treats children like gold and is always helping everybody who can do nothing for him. So y'all welcome to the show and Drop That Boom, Jerry Benson. All right.
Yay!
So y'all gonna know him from Moonshiners, but that's not who Jerry Benson is. And I want to start out with, who is Jerry Benson? Where did he start? Tell us where it all began, man.
Oh, wow. Well, how far back you want to go?
I want to start where you want to start. I want to know, man, the upbringing, the family life, what did you do as a teenager? I mean, how did you get to become the man you are today? And let's start in the beginning and work our way through the journey that makes you not only one of the most popular stars on Moonshiners, not only probably the most demanded moonshine
Probably
builder,
the most helpful.
and the most demanded moonshine steel builder in the nation,
Yes.
but makes you just the person you are.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it really falls back to, just my family and my upbringing. I didn't grow up I grew up very poor, and like a lot of people, it's been a thing in the mountains. And, my dad years ago when he was younger, he got hurt his back, he fell. And so he had a lot of problems with his back. And so when him and my mom got married, he was doing okay. They got married and started a family, and everything was fine. And then he got hurt real early in my life. I was probably about a year and a half old.
Oh, wow.
And so, he was out of work for nearly a year. He was in almost a full body cast.
Oh, wow.
Back then, they didn't have the technology, so they pretty much had to cut you open and see what they could find and put you back together. And then you had to just suffer for a long time. So he didn't get to work a lot, and so we didn't have a lot of money to do a lot of things with when I was younger. And then my grandparents, my grandparents were, I love my grandparents on both sides of the family. But my mom's mom, after my grandfather died, I spent a lot of time with her because she was there by herself, and when I was a teenager. But my grandmother was a very demanding of respect type person. She was very. Either you're going to respect me or I'm going to make you respect me kind of person. And
Traditional old school.
Traditional old school.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No. And I could tell you, I really couldn't tell you how many times, but there's been times I'd smart mouth my mom, and I felt the back of that hand come across my face several times. So, it makes you think about things as a kid. You're thinking like, why would somebody beat on me like that or whatever? But, it's just one of the things that, I didn't never interrupt nobody. I was always taught, just wait your turn, don't interrupt nobody. And then nowadays, like hear kids and especially young adults and stuff like, just walk up and start talking, and you're in the middle of a conversation. It just grits my craw to even think about why they do that. Just think about their upbringing wasn't as good as mine. And respect, that's a big thing for me is just respect. If you can't respect somebody, then how do you expect people to respect you?
Yeah.
But I learned early in life, you you want something, you got to work for it. And if it's something you can't buy, then you build. And that's what I've always, my philosophy is things. If it's something I need, I can't buy it, can't find it, then I just try to make it. And so I've always been really crafty with my hands. Good Lord's blessed me very, very much with my abilities and my talents. And I just feel like I'm a gifted person in a lot of different ways.
Well, the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. And a lot of times you're not supposed to prepare the path for the child. You're supposed to prepare the child for the path. Mm-hmm. And paths are usually grown up with weeds and hard to walk. So there's nothing wrong with that kind of raising. I think more kids today should have that kind of raising.
But isn't it amazing that he said, I didn't grow up with it, then I'd build it.
Yep.
So God gave him the ability to know how to put it together. And I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of people that do not know, number one, how to read instructions, much less go and try to build something.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
That's one thing that used to always aggravate my mom. Anytime we ever bought anything or got anything, which wasn't very often, but like we got an entertainment center one time. I remember as a teenager, we got a little entertainment center for the living room. My mom was so excited. It's more for her little whatnots and stuff, And it was one of them little cheap kits, you buy at the store. First thing I done, I got it home, I opened the box, and I just started scattering parts everywhere. And next thing you know, the instructions are down the hallway somewhere because I didn't need those. And she's like, "You need to read the instructions. Give me the instructions." I said, "I don't read the instructions." And it'd take me, 10 or 15 minutes. I'd kind of just lay the pieces out, like, this needs to go here, this needs to go here. All right, let's start putting it together. Next thing I know, it's done, And like I never, hardly ever, read the instructions on stuff like that. I just could see the puzzle pieces and how they go together.
The junkyard jigsaw solver. Just throw it on the floor and put it together. I'll be honest with you, you couldn't pay me to do that. That mug would turn up upside down and backwards, and half of them be inside out, and there'd be 15 pieces left. And I'm not being funny. I ain't gonna tell you. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a hard time with instructions. I mean, I can get it done, but
You have a hard time with the instructions? Oh, go figure. Wow.
I've always been amazed.
Lord,
with people
he's
that can do
telling
that.
the truth today.
Yeah.
Well, that's just one of the things I have people that, try to work on stuff, and I give people props for trying.
Yeah,
'Cause if you don't try, you never know if you can or can't. But they'll bring me stuff like, I had a guy bring me a generator one time, and he had tore it all apart, and it was like in probably, I'd say, no kidding, it's probably 30 or 40 pieces. And the bolts, he had a bucket, I'm talking like
Just a bucket of bolts.
it was actually a crock peanut butter
Yep,
container.
yep.
And it's probably over halfway full of just bolts and screws and stuff from this generator. And so I looked at it and I said, okay. He said, you think you can put it back together? I said, oh yeah, I can put it back together. So the first thing I done probably took me a half a day to do it, but I sat down, put the generator on the table, and sat down and poured that bucket of bolts out and just put them all and like categorized them. This length, this length, this length, and then how many I have of this one, how many I have of that one. And then I went to the generator and started looking at all my pieces that I had to bolt back on this thing. So I found a case, the part of the casing or whatever, and this thing had like 7 bolts in it. Then I'd measure, see how long those bolts need to be in each hole slot. And I take this bolt, and it fits here. That's one of them. So I just do that for all my pieces. Well, next thing you know, you got all your pieces organized, you know exactly where they go, and you just pull it back together.
I bet you're a heck on a jigsaw puzzle. I bet you're a heck on a jigsaw puzzle, buddy. Oh my God!
But I don't have enough patience to do a puzzle.
How do you got patience to measure bolts in a jar coming out of a peanut butter thing, and you ain't got a patience to do a jigsaw puzzle?
My mom used to do puzzles like that all the time, and I don't know if it's just my eyes, or it just got too bored, I guess,
Yeah.
for me because I just couldn't.
No challenge.
I wasn't getting nowhere. Even if I found the piece, it wasn't rewarding enough,
Yeah.
But she used to love putting them together. I'd help her for like 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I might find 1 or 2 pieces. All right, Mom, that's all I can do to help you.
So what was life like in high school? So you said you grew up in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
What mountains?
Over in Hendersonville.
Hendersonville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
We call it the mountains. Of course, it's the mountains, but it's not like, we had woods just like everybody else, and I played in the creeks, and, Saturday mornings, Mom would let us have cereal and watch cartoons.
Watch
for a while,
cartoons.
and it'd be like, get out.
Bo, you're giving your age out.
Go find something to do.
Kids today don't even know how much we look forward to Saturday morning cereal
Oh,
cartoons,
God,
bro. That was our steak of the week right there.
Sitting in front of the TV with some Fruit Loops.
Oh my God! And got to play it loud too for one
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Got to turn that mug unless it was too early in the morning. Usually about 9 you turn it up. If you turned it up before 9, you got in trouble.
Yeah, I wasn't watching cartoons on Saturday morning. I was watching Soul Train, dancing.
That's what's wrong with you now.
Be quiet, boy.
You missed the original. See, our
Be
cartoons,
quiet.
our generation cartoons taught you something. They all have meaning.
Okay. Okay.
What? I mean, there were shows like Sanford and Son and Gilligan's Island. And,
That is not a cartoon.
I know,
number
but I'm
one.
saying that all our shows had meaning, man. Now you got what? Bart Simpson and Avatar and stuff that has no meaning.
I don't know.
Half
But
cartoons I watch today, I don't really understand them. You know, it's like, what
Most of the time, you got to be an adult to watch today.
Oh, I know.
So what's high school like?
High school was, I had a lot of challenges in school, all in elementary school, all the way up through high school. I just kind of, barely tried to get by, tried to do what I could, stayed under the radar, just done what I could. But when I got to high school, my 7th grade year in high school, I decided I wanted to try football, and that didn't really go too well with my mom and dad. So it was like, okay. So I ended up doing track in my 7th and 8th grade year, and finally, my 7th, 8th grade year, my 9th grade year, I finally convinced my mom. But she wasn't even in town. Her and my dad wasn't even in town.
Oh, wow.
And it was football. We had to get tryouts. Everything started the next day, so we had to get cleats and all that. So finally, I convinced my grandmother and loaned me the money to buy my cleats because I had to do the thing that next day. My mom and dad were going to be in town, but they okayed it. They said, "All right, if you want to try it, go for it." And so I played football, and I loved it. I always had problems with like remembering the plays and stuff on offense. So I guess my coach really seen that. Our very first game, my 9th grade year, our very first game, we were actually on defense, and one of the guys, the nose guard on defense, got hurt. And so the coach just grabbed me and said, "Go take his place." I'm like, "What am I supposed to do?" He said, "Just get the ball." I'm like, "Okay." So when that ball snaps, and I run through that center like he was like a bulldozer. I grabbed that quarterback, slammed him to the ground. Of course, I got flagged for being, roughing the quarterback. And so the guy was like, "You just got to wrap him up." I was like, "Okay." So the very next snap, I bulldozed to him again, just wrapped him up. And it was, next thing I know, I was tackling about every other play. So finally, towards the end of the game, they started like double teaming me and stuff, really slowing me down.
Yeah.
And I got so aggravated. I was just really just pissed off, that they just wouldn't let me get
Yeah,
through
we
anymore.
get through no more.
And so they went in there one time, we went back to the sidelines after it's our turn to go back on offense. And I told the coach I was just frustrated. He's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong with you?" I said, "Well, I can't get through the line no more." He said, "Son," he said, "look," he said, you're taking up 2 to 3 people. That leaves us two to three people that's not
Get
being
through.
blocked.
Yeah.
So you're doing your job. You just keep doing it. But,
I could see you being a nose guard,
yeah.
nose tackle. I could
That's
see you being a
pretty
nose
much
tackle.
that's all I played the rest of the season was nose guard.
I could see that.
And then you played more defense or offense. But ended up getting the defensive MVP that year.
Did you really?
First year playing football and got MVP in defense.
I really could see you're built to be a nose guard, bro. You have that body type, short, stocky, and thick, just full of power. So
then you make it to the end of high school, and what happens?
Well, I played through my 10th and 11th grade year, and I decided not to play on my senior year because I was just trying to get through school, just trying to get out of there. Of course, I graduated high school and pretty much just went straight to work. And
what'd you go do? What'd you do? Work.
Oh, I just just started doing well in school. I was working at like Little Caesars and different places like that. But I got out of school. I went to work for Floor Daniels construction site. I wanted to go in and do something like electrical, being electrical. That was what my cousin, he was an electrician, and I just thought that was the most fascinating thing. So I went into doing electrical crew, and first of all I got put on the labor crew. Then they put me into the office. They didn't want to be going through blueprints because I took blueprint, took drafting and stuff in school, and so read drawings and stuff. I like that job pretty good, but I really wanted to get out there in the electrical field. And finally, a guy came in, was getting the revised blueprints, and I was talking to him, and he finally got me out in the field, and I loved it. Run a lot of wire, and learned a lot about a lot of the different types of electrical, and one of the most interesting but boringest jobs that I ever done on that electrical crew was this old man. I can't remember what his name was, but he came in, and all his job was he was what they called the Terminator.
Yeah.
And so all he done when he come in is he sat down at the end of this wire, these big MC cables, It was big old cables. Them things were big as a Coke can. They'd pull them, and they would be just hundreds and hundreds of pairs of wires in that thing. So it'd come into a cabinet, like a communicating cabinet,
Mhm.
and so you had to sit and you had to like label all them wires.
Oh, wow.
So what we had to do is I had to sit at the end of this cabinet. I was on the other end, the other mechanical room, and what we'd do is we'd find a pair of wires. They had like a common in these wires. They knew it was something that had to be done, so you put a common wire in there, like only that one color. And had these things. They were phones, is what they were. They were just like an old handset for the old like rotary phones we used to have. But the way they done them, they rewired them, put batteries in them, we could connect them together, and you could sit and talk. So he had one on his end, one on my end, and we'd just sit there and hook the wires up, and we'd sit there and talk. And he said, I'm going to go to this orange wire. You pick an orange wire, and I'll find you. So he used that one wire we knew was common, and then I'd just pick an orange wire and strip it, and I'd hook to it, and he'd just sit there. It may take him 5 minutes, it may take him 30 minutes to find me, and then finally he'd come on there and we'd put a label on it. That was wire 1, or 01.
And you had hundreds of those.
Hundreds.
Well, if you hated puzzles, I know you hated that.
Oh my God, it was crazy. But he would label, and it'd take us. Sometimes it'd take us several minutes to do one wire.
Yeah.
But we'd have to find that wire, and we'd have to label it on both ends, and then he would actually make a log, like 01 was orange, and just keep writing them down. And then so finally it'd take us. I remember one cable. It took us over a week just to do that one cable.
Seriously.
Oh yeah. But I enjoyed that, and then finally I decided to move on, do something a little bit different. So, just kind of started moving around, and finally ended up went to work for Jim Campbell over in Fletcher. He started back in the late 90s. He started just a utility trailer, hitches, brake controls, that kind of place. And then it moved into where he sold a lot of trailers, and we repaired a lot of trailers. Then got into dump trucks, and got into anything to do with towing or any kind of accessories for work, salt spreaders and snow plows and just whatever. And so he taught me a lot about the mechanical side of things, the building side of things, keeping things square, keeping things straight. If it's not like you want it, start over and do it again. Just make it right. And it's even to this day, I got pretty tickled. We done a job for him here about a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, and my son delivered it back to him. I didn't go, and so my son went in, told him, said, I brought you that trailer back. He said, okay, where'd you unhook it? He said, out there on the far side of the lot there. He said, you need to go take a look at it? He said, no, I don't need to look at it. He said, okay. So he just left. My son did. He come into work the next day, and he said, I dropped that trailer off, and he said he didn't even want to look at it. I said, son, you know why he didn't have to go look at that trailer? He said, why? He said, because he knew the kind of work I'd done. Yeah. And he knew it was done right.
He didn't have to worry about it.
He didn't have to worry about it.
You can't hardly find that no more. I mean, you really, I think just about everything we send off to get done, we go out and check it and triple check it and double check it, because nowadays people are just lazy. They just want to get the money.
Nobody has pride in
They don't.
work.
Yeah, they don't care about the job, the quality. They just want the quantity.
Paycheck, just get it in, get it out.
So how does that lead? Where does all that lead us into being one of the best steel builders in the nation and being a moonshiner?
Well, the moonshine is something that came. I had probably about 17 years I've been doing moonshining, but it came about because of doing all the steel work and stuff. I've been a certified welder since '94. I went and got my welding certification. I took my 2-year course and graduated in Blue Ridge Tech over in Hendersonville. And I started welding and just enjoying it, and working for Jim and doing odds and ends. I worked for Meritor, building truck axles and stuff. And finally, the welding just got through. It was just too much. I mean, I'd have my back problems and started having sinus problems and headaches all the time, just for all the fumes and the heat and everything. And then finally, I decided I'm going to find something that's going to be a little easier to work with. So I started working with copper. So I got me some copper and just started working with it. The main reason why is this lady had contacted me about building a copper chimney cap. So I said, okay. So I built her one. Of course, this neighborhood was like everybody had money, and it's like, oh, she got something new, I'm going to get something new.
Oh.
So, which was good for me. So I spent the next 6 months in there building chimney caps.
Copper chimney caps.
Copper flower pots and planters and window baskets and fixing gutters.
It was trending.
Yeah.
That's how you get in a neighborhood. You put up one fence and they want 30.
That's right.
So I just, started doing all the copper work. Well, anyway, my now ex-wife, her cousin contacted me and said, look, he said, I've got something I want you to try to build out of copper for me. I was like, okay. So he ended up, got up with me, and he told me he wanted to build a moonshine still. I'm like, well, I don't really know much about how they're put together or whatever. So if you give me a picture of one, I'll build you one.
Oh, wow,
So
from a
he-
picture.
Yeah, so he got me just found me an old picture in a book and magazine or something. I looked at the picture and I said, okay, I can build that. So I just built him one.
Off a picture.
Yeah.
So your first moonshine steel come off you looking at a picture.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh, wow. See, I was talking about this earlier, man, that artists, when you sit back and look at artists create things, and the way that they can see them and utilize them and do them. They never do this one, number one. In the Bible, all the great creations, there's just hundreds of them. And, but artists have a talent that people cannot duplicate nor replicate.
Yeah.
So, I've seen a bunch of your steels. And I remember, and I think you built it on the show, but it was a 12, the steel 12 times, is that what it was?
24.
24 times. So it would, you build a steel that it would go to a bottle, come out of that bottle, go to another bottle, come out of that bottle, go to 24 times around the steel.
Yeah, we called it the liquor lantern.
The liquor
Liquor
lantern.
lantern.
If
Oh,
y'all have
wow.
not seen that, you need
That's
to Google Jerry Benson's liquor lantern, because that was the most unique steel I've ever seen. Now, you've built some unbelievable steels on the show. That's kind of what you're known for, isn't it?
It is, and that's kind of, I always try to push the envelope with everything I do. Like, if I do it this way, next time I want to do it just a little bit better, a little bit different, or something different. But one of the things with distilling has come about is like, there's almost so many ways you can boil water. But then there's kind of unique ways of building, of boiling water. So that's kind of what I want to be, is that unique
You
way.
want to have a style with it.
Yeah, it's just
artistic
a style. It's like, 3 years ago, I built a steel that cooled the alcohol with air.
Really?
It didn't even need no water, period.
So, if you don't understand about moonshine, basically the way it works is you have a mash.
Mm-hmm.
You put the mash into the
Pot.
into the pot, and then you start boiling it
Mhm.
with fire, heat, and then it basically turns it into a vapor. The vapor runs through the worm. You pour cold water on the worm to bring the vapor back to a liquid, and it comes out the other end a liquid. So you're saying you have to put any water on the coal?
Nope. It's all air cooled. It's like like a Volkswagen motor or a motorcycle motor. It's just
Wow.
It's just the ambient temperature. Anybody that, and a lot of people says it can't be done. Matter of fact, the night that show aired, a digger actually called me and he said, did that thing really work? I'm like, yeah, it really worked. I mean, of course it worked. He said, how? He said, I've been told all my life, you can't do it unless you got your cold water. I'm like, well, they lied to you. You can. But the thing it really made, it was just the surface area that those, the coals that I had built, the way I had built them, I had a lot of surface area. So I had 117 feet of 3/4 inch copper line. And with that being, the surface area of that was about 33 square feet. That's a lot of surface area to condense on. And we figured, like the boiling point of alcohol is 173 degrees. Well, all you got to do is be slightly cooler than that. So anybody that's boiled water on the stove knows you've got the heat, the heat under the pot. And when you take the lid off, you lift the lid off, the first thing that runs out of is just all that water that's condensated on the top of it. Well, the reason being is because the ambient influence on the top of that lid is less than what the heat underneath it is. So when that gas or the vapor water rises, it just condenses right on the lid, because there's a temperature differential between the vapor and the lid itself, the air.
This mug right here just told us that he had a hard time at school and just gave a full chemistry lesson.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally better than
That's
probably
what yeah.
better than any professor
okay.
I've ever heard explain that. I mean, straight up, like how? Just how your mind works?
One of the biggest questions that I've ever been asked is like, how do you come up with these ideas, and how do you there is no instructions to what I do. And I always refer back to the cartoon days, like the Coyote Roadrunner.
Yeah.
That coyote, he tried his best to catch that roadrunner, and he's always coming up with these ideas, and of course he always comes up with something. And next thing you know, you see him, this little bubble pops up, and it's kind of like this drawing, and he sees what's going on. He's like, yeah, that'll work, And that's kind of what I do. That's the way I see things. I have this vision. I can see, literally mechanically see things working, and how this is going to move and how this is going to touch, how this is going to hit. And it's just like, I know if I can see it, I can see it working, all I got to do is just copy what I see.
So we need to build a AI tool for Jerry that will pop a bubble outside of his head,
Yeah.
so he can do live streams where people can see what Jerry sees, so he can revolutionize the steel building world.
That would be
Yeah,
kinda cool.
absolutely.
I think that's something that Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk at SpaceX should jump right on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's get an AI for Jerry Benson.
Yeah.
You just put on like a little hat or a little hoodie. And
Yeah, there you go. You just a little thing to your head.
Yeah.
So I've seen you create like so many things, man. But I tell you, the most simplistic things bring the most joy to people. And my dad loved moonshine his whole life. I've told you this story, but so I called Jerry up on Christmas. I want to give my dad something really cool. You remember this?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I was at a thing, and Jerry said, "Man, I'm making walking canes now to keep the moonshine cool." I said, "You man, what?" "Well, you put the moonshine in it because of the temperature of the copper. It keeps it cool enough to do-da-da-da-da. If you chill the moonshine and put it in the copper acts like a conductive conduit," whatever Jerry says, his chemistry background.
Uh-huh.
And it keeps it cool, and then you can just take the top off and drink it. So I bought my dad one for Christmas. Had Jerry Benson make a handmade Jerry Benson walking cane. Do you know that he had to sleep on the porch the night I gave him that?
Really?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
Because he walked around with it for about 3 hours, filled it up about 4 times. And Mama put a blanket on him where she found him and left him out there, brother. Sure did.
So needless to say, he enjoyed it.
Oh, but Jerry,
Yes,
still
he does.
enjoys it.
Really?
That mug, we'll go to a family event, and you'll see Pops walking around, and you know, he got a little copper cane. Nobody has any idea that mug has got moonshine in that copper cane.
Awesome.
And I'll be honest with you, here's the other thing that amazes me. So you see all these moonshiners coming out, and not even talking about the show, just in general society now with social media. Everybody's a moonshiner. Everybody's a distiller. Everybody can do this. So the last time I checked with you, I believe you had 61 flavors. Am I somewhere in that ballpark? 58 flavors? I mean,
How many flavors?
how many
you got?
flavors have you got the capability to make that you can actually make?
Well, the last count was a little over 200.
Jeez.
Oh wow, 200.
I was just
Dang.
slightly off.
Just slightly.
Yeah, by a mile.
I mean, I'm not in that world at all, but 200 flavors.
Yeah.
So
Probably closer to like 220, but we'll say slightly over 200.
I'm telling y'all, I don't understand why the ABC store don't put this mug on payroll. I just ain't figured that out yet. Like straight up, like, hey man, we don't need all these other brands. We're gonna make an ABC brand, and we're just gonna hire Jerry Benson, Jerry build the steels, you know. But if you ever do watch, and honestly, just find the clips. Just Google Jerry Benson steel building, and I'm telling you, some of the steels he makes, man, the lights, they're amazing because if you ever see the old cartoons, we're talking about cartoons about moonshine, you see bottles and they have 1X, 2X, 3X. And what most people don't realize, and correct me if I'm wrong because you're a moonshiner or not, but 1X is when it went through the pipe or the worm one time. 2X when it went through 2 times, 3X went through 3 times. Each time you put it through the pipe, it gets a little bit stronger, a little bit purer.
What it was back in the day is like, you know, back then they really didn't have all the extra, the different distillation things like we got now, all the thumpers and the jar rigs and all this different stuff, the plate columns and stuff. They just had a basic pot and, you know, in a condenser. Most of them back then didn't even run a thumper at that time. So what they would do is they'd actually distill it off. It would come off with kind of a lower wine, lower spirit, and usually sometime around like 80, 90 proof. They always wanted it up there a lot higher than that. So they'd what they call a double distill or triple distill. So every time what they would do is they'd catch it all in jugs and they'd put an X on it and set it to the side. And then they'd dump it all back in the pot later on when they got more mash stuff. Then they'd run it again. And when it come out the second time, they'd put a second X on it, and same so and so on.
So that's how you see the 3X or you see the 1X or you see all that. So
I actually found a clay jug. Now, I don't know if it's just a funky design or somebody actually done it, but it actually had 4 X's on it.
seriously, now I've never heard of that, never seen it.
Yeah,
But
I got the shop. I'll show it to you.
so we were a funny story. We were talking earlier with another guy, which you know him well, JB Rader,
Oh yeah.
and he was telling us the old Popcorn Sutton story, which, you know, most infamous, famous moonshiner probably ever. Not saying he was the best, I don't know, you know, but I'm saying he's probably the most well known and probably really started the moonshine craze in America when people started seeing videos. But he was telling us that Popcorn one time traded 3 jars for a car.
Yes.
And they caught the 3-jar car, and they drove that mug to California on a bet, Bo.
Yes.
And I said,
That was
man, that had to
hilarious.
be the funniest story. I mean, to hear JB tell that story, Bo.
I've heard it many times.
Yeah, Bo, I mean, really, it's just. But
Spare tire strapped to the truck.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Jerry's heard it, look. So, like, to hear stories like that about these old moonshiners and stuff, man, people just don't understand how much work goes into, and I'm not being funny, how much work goes into actually making moonshine. Like, it's not, you don't go out there and spend 10 minutes and come out with some liquor.
No, the thing about it is, especially back in the day, I mean, they were getting in the woods to try to hide from the law, and make the laws to just keep people from knowing where they were. Today's time, I tell everybody that's the worst place you can try to go to make liquors in the woods, because there's too many people riding horses and just
Four-wheelers, hunting,
and,
fishing.
There's too many people out there in the woods. You save some places in your garage somewhere. But
Jerry is not condoning making alcohol in your garage. He's just saying.
He's just saying that's
He's
the
saying,
safest
if you
place.
want to be
Safest place.
safe.
But no, it's JB. He's a very unique soul. Love him to death, and he's told me stories. I've had a lot of opportunities to sit and talk with him. Just, you know, not really looking for no particular answer. Just
want to hear him.
Just want to hear him talk. There's been times I've just sat down and said, you know, what you got on your mind? The next thing you know, we're into a 3-hour just story, you know, down the road to the story. You know, I'm like, all right.
But I'm telling you, I told him when he left here, he actually told me, Amy, he said, you know, it's the first time I've done a podcast. And I was like, what? Man, everybody wants you on a podcast. You're JB Raider. I mean, you're one of the last 3 men that I know of, because I think Mark and Digger are 2 of them, but probably one of the last 3 men in the world that actually made shine with Popcorn Sutton. I mean, if there's another one still alive, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that really during his prime. And I said, man, just to hear your stories. I'd sit here all day to hear your stories. And he's like, you know, man, I don't do things I don't believe in. I don't support people I don't believe in, and I don't support products I don't believe in. He said, I'm the kind of guy that if I make 100 gallons of moonshine and it tastes like crap, I'm dumping it out. And you know, he was dead serious. And I'm like, Bo, you're that, you know, nobody in today's society, no 30-year-old kid, no 25-year-old kid would do that. If it tasted like mule piss with the foam farted off, they still sell it. They wouldn't care.
Absolutely. They're looking for that,
quick
return.
dollar.
Yeah, that money.
And it's good to see people who still have morals and values. And I think that's what, you know, and I was talking to you about this earlier. And I'm still upset with you, so I'm not going to say I'm not, because
What?
this is the kind of, I'm still mad with Jerry.
About what?
About this morning.
But what about this morning?
So Jerry's got 6 tents. We're at Hillbilly Jam. This is why we came down here. I actually came down here to spend time with Jerry. And last night we had a massive storm come through, and Jerry's all 6 tents blew all over the place. Broke the top rods off 3 of them. Destroyed everything. Jerry sat out there all day by himself fixing them. Didn't call near a soul to help him. Didn't tell nobody. I'm like, Jerry, why would you not call me? Oh, man, it ain't that big a deal. Jerry, why didn't you ask for help? I got it. And it speaks a ton to his character, but as somebody who really appreciates and values him, you're like, bro, if I needed help, I would call you. Why didn't you call? And Jerry's the kind of guy that if you come around Maggie Valley, North Carolina, everybody here knows Jerry Benson. And everybody here has a Jerry has helped me story. And I'm not kidding about that. Everybody here has
That
a
is
Jerry
true.
has helped me story. But nobody that I've talked to has a I've helped Jerry story. So after that happened today and I left, I talked to Becky, I talked to Terry, I talked to JB, I talked to Nick, I talked to Daniel, I talked to Daniel's wife, I talked to 2 other guys. Not one of them has ever went and helped Jerry Benson because he won't call him. Seriously. You can't find nobody that's got a I helped Jerry story. Like, it's like, even today, Jerry left. He'd been working all day, and I wanted to go to lunch with him. We had to do a podcast. So I'm like, man, I really love to go to lunch with you, but I can't. I got to go. Jerry, all right, man, I'm going to go to lunch. The keys to my golf cart are sitting over there if you need it. Leaves. Oh, I did use your golf cart.
Right.
Yeah, I drove over to the coffee shop to get my wife out of shopping in them shops because she told me she was getting coffee, but she was in there spending money. Yeah. So you saved me a lot
I
of money,
was
buddy.
not.
You
I
saved me a
wasn't.
bunch
He's
of money,
telling
Jerry. You
stories.
saved me a bunch of money,
He's
Jerry.
telling stories.
But really, everybody down here's got a Jerry Benson help me story because after you left, I was out there talking to like 7 different people, and they were all telling me all these things you've done for them, man. And it's like, it seems like you spent most of your life helping folks.
I just enjoy helping people. I mean, it's like, you know, I figure the good Lord's blessed me tremendously. And just that's the only way I know to give it back, you know, is just to be able to help people.
Well, that's the biggest thing the Bible says, is to put others before yourself.
Absolutely. It
And that's
says
the
to
second
love.
time
It
I've
says
heard Jerry
to
talk about
love,
it.
and it says to treat others the way that you would want to be treated.
The way I express that personally is, even a dog knows the difference in being stepped on or kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And people know the difference in being stepped on or kicked. I mean, and we were talking about some gentlemen earlier. I'm definitely never throwing anybody's name out, but we're like, some people just get around other people to step on them, and they don't even realize they're being stepped on. And you know, it's a shame, bro. It's such a shame to see people use other people for their own benefit. And that in society today, I mean, I see that a lot. But like every story, I'm telling you, coming down to Maggie Valley, every time we come, there's a new Jerry Benson story. I mean, when are you coming out with a memoir or a movie or something, bro? When are you starting your own YouTube channel? I mean,
Well, if I had enough patience, I'd write a book.
so how many kids?
I've got 2 kids, 3 grandkids.
3 grandkids. Now that I did not know.
Yeah.
I knew you had some. I didn't know you were up to 3.
Yeah,
So all from the same one or 2 different ones?
Yeah,
or?
my daughter, she's got my
She got
kids.
3, yeah.
My kids are my,
Yeah.
my 2 kids.
Yeah, I'm saying the grandkids, all from the daughter?
Yeah, it's my daughter's
Okay.
kids.
How old's your boy now?
He'll be 23 in August.
Because we used to talk about your boy when he was, I don't know if he still lives at the house or he's moved out or whatever, but he used to ride motorcycles a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we had a lot of conversations about motorcycles and how crazy that was. And I said, boy, I saw it, Jerry, that's dangerous, da-da-da-da. And then my boy started riding bulls and tore his arm off. So I can't say nothing else about motorcycles.
No, he really enjoyed his motorcycle riding.
I remember.
He didn't ride to like try to compete. Or
No, he just loved it.
He just liked to go out and ride. And he used to jump the jumps and all that stuff. Well, he actually jumped one time. Had like built him like a big tabletop. He had a tractor at his house, and he jumped that jump a million times. And this one particular time, he jumped it and he come down and made a perfect landing. And as he went to turn the little berm that we'd built where he'd come out of that jump and hit a berm, he hit a rock, and that rock just it caught the bike, and he wasn't really going that fast. Just when it went up on the berm, the bike kind of threw him off sideways. It kind of flipped up, threw him sideways. When he landed pretty much on all fours, you know, and it did rupture his spleen.
Oh, wow.
And so it was one thing, and it still gives him a fit today. If he eats too much, it'll
mess him up.
But that's something I didn't know as far as like your spleen, because your spleen has no nerves or nothing in it, so you really can't hurt it. And the way you get the pain from a ruptured spleen, you actually get shoulder pain.
Oh, wow.
It hurts up here in your shoulder.
I did not know that.
I don't know why that is, but that's what the doctor always told me.
I know that I know a busted spleen is a serious situation of it.
They tore it pretty good. They thought they were going to do surgery on him. As they were looking at it, it was tore just on that borderline of like
Where you need it, where you don't.
yeah, where you need surgery, or you don't need surgery. So that they monitored it for about 4 or 5 days, and it was starting to heal back pretty good. So they just let it do
I'm
it
glad.
itself. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. So I've seen you welding, and I mean I'm not a welder, so you know I get a lot of stuff welding. I'm in tow business, and I know how men run beads. I know how guys, women, whatever run beads. I've seen dime welds. I've seen nickel welds. I've seen $50 welds that look just ridiculous. You're one of the better welders I've ever seen. And I talked to you one time. You said, Ronnie, I could weld daylight to dark, and I believe you could. But can you weld my wife's mouth closed?
How did I figure that was going that way?
I mean, I need to know, but I need to know if you're that good. Like, that is like, come on, Jerry, can you do it?
I don't know. That might be tough.
Keep talking, buddy. Keep talking.
Well, I mean, he's one of the world's best welders sitting beside me. I mean, I'm telling you.
Keep. Got on what your dad knows.
But that's another thing too. It's really changed. Just like everything's changed, you know. Just like these microphones and everything else has changed. The welding industry's changed a lot due to the technology in welding.
Yeah.
Like like now there's welding machines out there. Like I bought one. I actually bought it from Harbor Freight, and it had good reviews and it seemed to be a good welder, and everything I read about it was good. And so I thought, well, this should be a good welder, so I bought it. Probably one of the best welders I've ever used. You basically turn it on. You tell it what process you're doing, you tell it what wire you're using, you tell it what thickness metal you're using, and hit the go button, and it's ready to go. All the parameters are already set.
And everything.
You just pull the trigger.
Does everything but the work.
Everything.
And
but work.
I've said this for a while now. AI is going to take over a lot of this world. There's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. Robotics, AI, but there's certain things it'll never do. Let me tell you something. AI is never going to lay the same bead that people like Jerry Benson do. AI
That's
will
true.
never be able to nail a house together. AI will never be able to do, they might have some surgeries they can do, but AI is not going to be able to do the actual physical labor
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we do. And, so kids today, they're like,
And
man,
not the
what-"
quality
Yeah,
either.
not the quality. And they're like, what should we do? I'm like, Bo, go into any field, plumbing, electrical, mechanical, any field.
Well, yeah, any kind of tech work like that.
Exactly, because that's where the money is now. Like the plumbers now are making electricians. I mean, there's money in it now because it's such a skilled field. But it's because of things like that, though, that this AI and this technology has come so far. It allows people who have that talent to really utilize that talent.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you get on the show?
Well, the Hillbilly Jam was a big part of that. I came down with when you were with Crazy Chuck.
Crazy Chuck. Where is
Oh,
he at now?
yeah.
Before we go any further,
He's here in town.
is he here this weekend?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's
He gonna be at the show?
Yeah,
He's still driving the van.
the brown one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He still got that old brown. Have you ever seen Crazy Chuck's van?
Yes, I remember Crazy Chuck.
It literally looks like something you would see in a movie with a guy with a mask and a bunch of balloons trying to lure somebody into it. Like his van is
A kidnapping van.
Yeah, it literally looks like a kidnapping van. Like when you see Crazy Chuck's van, it's like, Bo, I'm not going to the back. Like I'm gonna stay up at the front, But Crazy Chuck is so funny. But so Crazy Chuck.
But anyway, I come over here because he had asked me to help him with merch and stuff. I said, yeah, I'll come over and help him. Not really knowing what it was even about and whatnot. And so this is actually the Winter Jam. And so I come over and was helping him. Of course, I got to meet all the rest of the people on the show. And so Mike and Daniel, I become pretty good friends with them pretty quick, And so we started
And
hanging
they were
out.
on the show.
They'd been on the show.
Yep. Daniel's the one that hand dug the pit, if I remember, in one of the first seasons. Is that Daniel? Well, no, that was the guy with the glasses. Man, it's been so
Yeah,
many.
that was Josh.
That was Josh.
Yeah.
That's who that was.
But I'd known Josh actually the longest of anybody. I've probably known him because my sister, the guy she ended up marrying, was married to Josh's cousin, so he knew Josh all his life. And so he introduced him to me like long before the show stuff was even going, or before I even really knew much about the show. But I came over here and got friends with Mike and Daniel, and time went on. We were friends probably a couple of years. And Mike had called me one day and said,
We're talking about Mike Cockrell.
Mike Crocker, yeah.
And Daniel, I remember now, is the big guy with overalls.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Beard.
Yep, beard, yep.
So he asked me, he said, what you got going on this week? And I'm like, just work. And I said, well, what's up? And he said, I need your help. I said, okay, what you need? He said, well, I said, I need you to go over and film with me. I said, film? I said, why? Why do you need me to help you? I said, you need me to help you build something or something? He said, no, I just need you to come over here and film with me. Like be on the show part? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. So I said, when you need me? He said, 8 o'clock in the morning. This is like 7:30 at night. I said, okay. I said, I'll be there. So I went over there and we filmed. We'd done a bunch of crazy stuff. Built a walk path and a little bridge, and then we ended up building a set of stairs.
Yep.
So we only got the stairs half built by the time what we call a hitch is over with. So like the times they give us from A to B to film, that's our hitch.
That's your hitch.
Yeah. So our hitch was over with, like on a Saturday, and so the guy, our producer at that time, told us that they'll probably bring Daniel back in on the next hitch. So you're probably done. I was like, okay, cool. Give me one episode anyway. So the company actually called me about 2 weeks later and said, we'd like to know if you'd be willing to come back and help Mike finish up the stairs. So I guess the continuity part of it was the same, me and him starting it, me and him finishing. So Eddie went back over about 3 weeks later, and we finished up the stairs, and we had enough time left over. We actually set up a pot, and we actually run a little.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. And so they just really loved the banner that me and Mike had, and kind of how we
Just
talked.
natural.
It just was really natural. We got along, we cut up and joked and everything, but we got a lot done too.
Yeah.
And so they about a month later they called me and says, how would you feel about just a full-time spot on the show? And I'm like, really? Like, yeah, I said, the Discovery just loved the way y'all got together and the way y'all doing things and just kind of the neat things that you were talking about doing. So one of the things that Mike had asked me on the show is like, he said, we need some power up here. So it gets dark up here. We were way back up in the woods. And I said, yeah. I said, he said, we got a good running creek over here. You think we could build some kind of water generator? I said, oh yeah. I'd actually built several micro-hydro generators for people.
Seriously.
And so I told him, I said, he said, we need to just make it really, really cool. So I said, well, I said, all right. I said, what we need to do is we need to find one of these newer direct drive washing machines, variable speed washing machines. He said, what are we going to do with the washing machine? I said, well, we're going to tear it apart. We're going to rewire it. We're going to make it a generator. He said, out of a washing machine? I said, yeah. So he said, okay. So we hunted around. We finally found this guy on the side of the road that had a bunch of old junk, you know. We pulled in there and sure enough, there was one, you know, because he had 4 or 5 of them. But one of them was a direct drive variable speed. You know, so how much for that thing? He said, $15. I said, all right. We loaded it up, took it back to his garage, started tearing it apart on the show. And, you know, you can YouTube it or whatever. It's just a washing machine generator.
Yeah.
And so we tore it apart and rewired it, put it all back together, and took it up on the mountain. We had to actually make what they call a Pelton wheel. A Pelton wheel is what grabs the power of the water and actually makes it turn the generator.
Yeah.
Well, we were going to buy one, but we didn't have the time. It was pretty expensive to buy one. So I said, let's just make one. He said, well, how are we going to make one? I said, well, let's go to a tractor supply and get a big old pulley. And I said, we'll go to one of the little home stores and buy a bunch of spoons. So we went and bought a bunch of tablespoons, little tablespoons. We cut the handles off and just welded the spoons
And
off.
use those for the paddles.
Yeah, all the way around the pulley. We just welded the spoons.
wow.
So when the water was directed at it, it would hit it from the side.
And you can see all that in your head before you ever build it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how it started, with a paddle wheel.
Yeah.
So now, honestly, how many, and I know it's all of them, or probably all of them, but just about how many guys now have you built stills for? Even on the show, because I mean, I'm telling you, I talked to several master distillers in the last day, and they're all like, "Oh, Jerry Benson built my still. Oh, Jerry Benson built my still."
Yeah, I know. I heard that. Yeah, I've heard.
I
that
mean, everybody
several
says
times.
it, like literally.
Well, really and truthfully, like I started out building stills for whatever people wanted, but then it got to where like everybody was trying to do the same thing. And, you know, it's kind of hard for me to put my heart and soul and time and do the kind of work that I do to not be able to charge what I need to charge.
Oh,
for that,
100%. That's
for my time.
custom work.
But when I take, like, say, for instance, a 20-gallon steel, and I got to have like $2,500 on that because this other guy just throwing something together. Now he's offering this for $600. Where do you think people's going to go? You know, not really knowing the difference and understanding, you know, the difference between apples and oranges and what you're paying for. They just know that
They just want something to work.
They just want something that's going to work, and you know, they can get a third of the cost, and that's what they're.
Can people still get a custom Jerry Benson built still?
Absolutely.
So how do they find it?
Well, they can message me through my Moonshiner Jerry Facebook page, or they can call Maggie Valley Steel Company.
Moonshiner Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Facebook page. If you want to find it, and I'm not being funny, if you go to my Facebook page or Liz Lickton on our Facebook page, I tag Jerry in a lot of stuff. These videos, he'll be tagged in. So if you want, I'm being serious, if you want a custom built Jerry Benson steel, now this isn't, okay, so
just remember what he said.
it ain't a Walmart steel.
We don't compare apples to oranges.
Yeah, this ain't a Walmart steel now. This is
Exactly.
This is what the guys on the show use. This is what the real moonshiners use. Not being funny, this is what the master distillers use. Many of these guys get their steel from Jerry. And there's a reason they get their steel from Jerry, because that steel is going to really, for people that do make it, it really changes the flavor, the mixture, I'm sure not the consistency, but the
And it's an original.
100%.
Well, the biggest thing with what I do is, like everything, I try to do it the best I can. But the biggest difference between, like, in comparison, like what I do and what everybody else does, like, people try to put stuff together just to quickly get it done.
Yeah.
There's, I pay attention to a lot of the details as far as, how easy it's going to be to clean, how sharp the edges are, make sure there's no sharp corners, make sure everything's nice and smooth. Because anybody that does it right and keeps their steel clean and does the thing you're supposed to do, you're going to be arm deep in that steel, cleaning it, scrubbing it all the time. So if you got your arm down that steel, like there's a matter of fact, there's a steel sitting in my shop right now that one of the other guys built. I won't name no names, but literally, it's probably about a 18 gallon steel, and it's got a 4-inch tri-clamp on it. And literally, if you was to run your hand down that thing, it would cut your arm half off.
Really?
Because just the inside, basically all he done was he made a cone. He set the tri-clamp on top of it, soldered it to it, and never even cleaned the edges.
Didn't grind it, didn't file it, nothing.
No, it's just, it stuck out probably a 1/4 inch all the way around. And just
wow.
It's like a knife blade goes on it. So if you stick your hand in and try to clean that thing.
That's a Freddy Krueger steel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
the outside is just as bad. It's like where the cake meets the pot. I make this, like what I call a hem it's like you hem them like your pants, how they meet up.
Mm-hmm. You put it around around the edge. Where
Well,
they
yeah,
meet.
like when the pot comes up to the top, I flame to the top of the pot like this, and then I take the cape, and it's attached like this. So there's a good spot there to be soldered, and I've got that lip right there that I can actually smooth down, and it's, you can rub your hand around it and not get cut on it.
Wow.
But
Quality.
So
Quality's everything.
exact quality. He takes the time to do it right.
Quality's everything. I mean, that's. I mean, it's just like tools. You can buy the cheap ones, or you can get the good ones. You spend a little more money, but they last.
I mean, there is something to that saying: you get what you pay for.
100%. Especially in wives.
Oh, Ronnie, I'm just not with you today.
But it's and the thing about it is like I enjoy doing the more special type steels. Like average little 10-gallon or 20-gallon or 50-gallon. Those are things that it's just they're pretty simple.
You like making custom. You like them original. You like making.
I like for people.
Yeah.
I like it
To
when
want something
people
different.
Want something different.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, like depending on what you're doing, it's like you go into a garage and your man's got a socket set and a couple of screwdrivers. He can only do so much work. But you got one of these big old huge toolbox cover tool alone, you can do
Got it.
any kind of work. So if you got a steel that's really user friendly, it's very versatile, it's easy to like I use a lot of tri-clamps and things, and the clamps is kind of like kind of refer back to like Legos. Legos you could snap in things together in
Yeah.
so many different ways. So if you got a steel that's set up with tri-clamps and all your connections are tri-clamps, and so when you want to add a piece here, you just take this loose and tri-clamp something else into it. Whether you want to run a 2-jar thump jar rig, or you want to run some kind of specialty style can thumper, or a lot of people use them for infusion. I don't really like to promote that, but that's what a lot of people call it. It's infused.
Mhm.
But they use the thumper to put a lot of fruit and whatever into kind of infused flavor. I'm not real big on that because there's no control to it.
Gotcha.
It's just like you just had a big old pot of food and just expected whatever to flavor it, you'd never know what much flavor it's going to have. But if you're putting that flavor into it, then you understand more about what it's going to taste like in the end. You can control the flavor.
So what's in the future for Jerry Benson?
I don't really know. I just enjoy life and
Not worried about tomorrow.
just start worrying about tomorrow. We're never promised tomorrow.
Ah, I
So
like
why-
that.
So why worry about it?
That's right.
The Bible says if you can't add 1 minute to your life by worrying, why worry about anything else?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it says. It's funny, though, because all the qualities, and again, I tell everybody this, Jerry, so our podcast is not a religious podcast, but it's a faith-based podcast because we have faith. But all the qualities I see in you and the way you talk and the way you help people, and I'm not trying to be boastful, give you a big head, but those are the exact qualities that are talked about all through Proverbs. I mean, the exact qualities you see when it talks about a righteous man and a virtuous man and an honest man and a
Someone
helpful
who's
man.
gentle and humble.
Yeah, I mean, you
and
see
kind.
those qualities, and it's rare in today's society, and that's one of the things that draw me to you when we hang out, is you're human, you're fallible, but you're honest and you're humble. And the qualities that, like, as my son grows, that I would like to see in him, I see in you. And it's amazing to see that in society today because society makes you hard.
Mm-hmm.
And you've probably been burned as many times as anybody.
Oh my gosh! And there's a lot of things. If you put the, I guess you'd say you put your life on the line with as far as looking for the money side of things. It's unbelievable how people are. I mean, I got a guy that I went to school with, known him most of my life. Thought we were really good friends. He had me do some work for him. So I done the work. I done the best job I could, just like he wanted. He was very tickled with it when he picked it up. He was actually going to the beach with his grandmother. Her last, because she was getting like in the early 90s, thought it could be her last. So they were on all goes a family beach trip. So he had a big price tag. He had big bill he had to pay. So he's like, look, he said, I've got some big jobs that are coming up. I got to get them done, get them paid out. He said, let me give you this much money right now. I'll pick up the trailer. I get back from the beach. We'll get it all taken care of. Well, that's been 3.5, almost 4 years ago, and I can't even hardly get him on the phone anymore to even talk to him.
Something my daddy told me is if you ever lend money to a friend, only expect one back, because you ain't getting both. And most of the time, you won't get either back.
Yeah. And that's one thing I was taught years ago. And if you're willing to do something for somebody, and the fact that you're doing it
Out of kindness.
out of kindness kind of things, if you're not expecting to pay, don't
Yeah.
because it's probably not gonna happen, especially with friends. And the thing, if you're gonna loan somebody some money, don't expect it back. Loan it, the intentions of not ever seeing it again. Because usually 9 out of 10 times you ain't gonna see it anyway.
Well, when you loan money to a friend, don't expect it back at all. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there ain't no need. So you might, when you give it to them, just say, I ain't loaning it to you. I'm just giving it to you.
Yeah.
Because if you make a big fuss about it, that's the same thing. They're gonna go ghost anyway.
Yeah.
So,
You can just make it your charitable thing for the year.
Yep. That'll be your Christian donation.
Absolutely. Because, yeah.
That's kind of what you do when you get married too, though. You just kind of give all your money and donate it, and you just consider it charity.
What
as a
money?
man.
You ain't got no money, so
That's
what
the
money you
point.
talking
That's
about?
what I'm saying. I
Exactly.
don't.
No, you ain't got none, period.
I traded
You
all
had
my
no one, I
money. I
bet
traded
you
all
ain't
my
got
money
none
for a
now.
little ring. Look at that. I slid into that and slid out of everything else.
Poor thing. Cry me a river.
One thing I do want
Yeah.
to talk about, and it's because you want to know as far as life in general. Most everybody knows, several years ago, almost 6 years ago now. This September the 6th will be 6 years ago. I had a stroke and a brain aneurysm.
Bad one.
And it was, I didn't at the time, I didn't think it was as bad as what it was. And then when I got to the hospital, it was a very, very big deal. It was all due to my blood pressure being so high and stress and everything. But, that's one of the things that I do that I think about a lot. The good Lord has blessed me with my abilities and gifts, but not only he's blessed me with life in general. And I feel like he's blessed me a second time with life. Just
Gave you that second chance.
Just give me that second chance to even be here. The doctor told me, when I got ready to leave the hospital, that after being in the hospital for almost 6 days, he told me, he said, Mr. Benson, he said, I just want to let you know, he said, in my medical opinion, he said, this is just my medical opinion. He said, you should not be leaving this hospital. He said, if you were to leave this hospital, it should have been in a body bag. He said, you should have really never made it to the hospital to begin with. He said, I'm not talking to you as a preacher or a religious man, but he said, God's got something else for you to do. So it's just,
I think he uses you every day. I'm telling you, from just the stories. When you hear the stories, man, it's. I think God uses you for, and I mean it in a sincere way, to humble other people, because you humble them with your humility. You humble them by helping. Like, man, I truly believe that, because I remember when you had all that, and it was, the first time you told me that, I was like, wow, God's always got such a bigger plan, such a greater plan, and I think our problem is sometimes we don't take the time to sit back and try to find what that plan is.
Well, that all comes with slowing down. And if you don't slow down, God will slow you down for you to realize the moments that you need to take and to take into consideration what his plan is for you. And I think that that's a testimony in itself, that you are still walking and that you can use that story to help other people who are going through the same thing, because stress is probably one of the most underrated
Killers.
Yeah, 100%. Because I went in, I remember going in and I couldn't figure out what I had going on one time, and my doctor was just like, "You're just stressed," and I was like, "But I don't feel stressed.
yeah.
I don't feel stressed. I feel fine. I just feel normal." And he's like, "You need to relax." You know what I mean? And I think over the course of that next week, I was more in my Bible, more praying more, and just, trying to use different techniques to get my blood pressure back down and stuff, because it had elevated, and for me that worked. But, sometimes you do have to get put on medications or you go through surgeries or whatever.
Well, the older you get, it's almost an inevitable thing that you're going to be on some type of medication.
Yeah.
Well, when I went to the doctor, the doctor said they put me on a ton of blood pressure medicine, and I was like, I don't like taking medicines.
Yeah.
2. I can't hardly remember to take them half the time. But it's like, it's like I've tried a lot of different things to get off of them. And like the things that I really should have, like taking care of my blood pressure problems, never even touched it. Even losing a lot of weight and eating better and, not eating sugars and not eating breads and carbs and all that stuff. And it's helped a little bit, but nothing like major. It's like I still have to have that little bit of medicine.
I mean, and as you get older, man, and this is, I tell everybody this, so God made doctors to make medicine for a reason.
Yes. I
So
believe that.
sometimes we got to have some medicine. I mean, sometimes we abuse that medicine. Sometimes we get hooked on that medicine. But I think there's a reason that people have the knowledge to make medicine. And some medicines we need, and I think he can prolong your life with medicines. Just like I think he can prolong your life with a heart doctor. I see people who say, I don't believe in surgeries. Then you don't believe in God, because God is the ultimate doctor, but he created minds that can operate on you to keep you living another 10 years. If you don't want to believe in that, then don't. I mean, it's going to be an inevitable either way. You're going to be there. It's just you're going to get there a little sooner than he probably wanted you there because you're stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I'm really, I really appreciate you coming on the show, opening up about your life, your faith, your talents. And like I said, you're humble, so you won't really even brag about what a great steel builder you are. And that's one of the things that blow my mind, because I'm telling y'all don't understand. It's like watching a man hand build a Lamborghini. And I mean that. So y'all just don't understand. I've seen so much of Jerry's work, and it's just, every bit of it is artistic. It's, and even Jerry's, if you get to meet him, just tell him to sign something for you. This mug's signature,
his signature
is a whole
it's a one of a kind
liquor bottle. Old XXX liquor bottle with Jerry. I mean, this mug has a better signature than any professional athlete or NASCAR driver.
Absolutely.
Like,
I can agree with that.
It's
100%.
unbelievable. It takes Jerry 45 seconds to sign something, but it comes out a work of art. I mean, you can frame that mug, bro.
But one thing, like when we go on these shows and stuff, do all these shows, it's one thing that always give me so much grief about is like, because I have to draw up my signature.
I love it.
And they're like, why don't you get a stamp? It'd be quicker.
Well, the thing is, though, when people leave with your merchandise or your signature, they leave with something that is one of a kind, because those signatures, like, nobody takes time to do that. Most people just go, and they have a little curl at the end or something, and it's like they don't take the time to appreciate the people that helped them get there. And it's going to be fun to work with you the next couple of days. And, I don't need a steel, but I probably need some stuff built, because I'm looking at buying a car. This 66 Mustang.
Oh, my. Here
stuff.
we go again.
I want some custom stuff on it.
Can you just go ahead and make me some shackles? Some arm shackles, leg shackles, and we'll just tie them together.
But if it makes them out
sit
of
'em in a
copper,
corner.
they're going to be easy to break.
Oh, my God.
Just telling you, copper's a very, it's not the strongest metal in the world, honey. I'm like, I mean, but if you pay them to make them out of gold, now I'll take those. Because then I could go sell them by my car.
Oh, please.
What?
No.
I can't have none of my money back?
No. You ain't got no money.
That's
I done told you
what I
this.
said,
You didn't
man.
come with no money.
That's
You ain't
right.
got no money.
You didn't learn
leave with no
anything
money.
from this podcast and get any humility from Jerry. I mean, come on. Kindness, giving away. I mean,
Yeah.
where's
I
it
do
at?
it all the time, just not to you.
So you seriously want to build a car?
Huh?
You seriously go build your car?
I ain't building one. I'm buying one, but I need some stuff built on it.
Oh,
That
okay.
I want a bunch of custom build. I got like all these ideas.
Okay.
So, I'd like to bring it up to Hendersonville and just drop it off and leave it for a little while, and you just do some stuff I need done. And I want to make it one of a kind.
He is too busy for you.
No.
I will say this, and I'm not being funny. I have never called Jerry. Jerry's told me it'd be this, but I have never called Jerry and he's told me no. He'd be like, I will figure it
That's
out.
because he's a nice person.
Yeah, but I'm saying
ain't.
he would look. Jerry would help me. I'm just waiting for you to make a steel and start making lizard liquor.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for you to do that, man. I'll give you the logo. I can't make liquor, but you can make liquor, and I
Well,
can't sell it. You sell it.
Give me the flavor and all.
I give you. You have it. Oh, and I will say before we get off though, he's talking about 200 something flavors, 220 flavors. This man makes just a few of the flavors for y'all to know: snow cream,
Shamrock.
Reese's.
Coffee. Some coffee flavor.
I mean,
you name it. Peach, apple,
yeah, but he makes
Blueberry.
the craziest stuff like
black.
orange. Remember orange push-ups when
Orange
you were a kid?
Aid.
Orange push-ups when you were a kid. He makes those. He make what other kind of crap? White raspberry, vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, banana, all in one. I mean, it's unbelievable the flavor. I'm serious. The snow cream blows my mind, because if you've ever grew up around snow and you ain't had snow cream, you're as lost as an Amish electrician at a nuclear power plant. Like that is a stable diet.
Oh, yeah.
for snow
yeah.
folk, you know. And Jerry makes a snow cream. And I mean, there's so many of them, man. Daddy loves the blackberry.
Yeah.
That's my pops' favorite is the blackberry by far. But
I got asked one time, like, you know, why I put so much time in making so many different flavors. Like, you know, why not just stick to the basics? Like, well, people get tired of the basics, you know.
what?
So like you go into like a Walmart and you go to the bread aisle. I mean, there ain't 3 loaves of bread. There's 30 different kinds of bread. You know, because if a person goes in there for a certain kind of bread and they don't have it, guess what? They're not selling that loaf of bread.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's the same thing with coffee. If you ain't got the right kind of coffee, they ain't gonna buy it.
You're right.
You're losing money.
Same with cereal.
Mm-hmm.
I said earlier, you're an artist, and artists can't make one thing. They got to make. Artist paints one picture, he's gonna paint 1,000 pictures. He
Yep.
builds one house, he's gonna build 50 houses. So you know, but y'all really look him up, man. If you're out anywhere, Jerry does events, and he does quite a few events. I know every year he's at Winterfest and Hillbilly Jam, and I see several other events you do all over the place.
Yeah, we've been traveling a lot with Killer Bees here lately and doing a lot of the moonshine mash-in.
Yep.
We'll be in Ashboro here pretty soon. And Wilson.
You'll be down in Wilson.
We'll be in Wilson on the 20.
If you're gonna be down in Wilson, let me know. I have to ride down there and just say, hey, 30 minutes
I
away.
think we're there on the 22nd of August.
If my boss will let me out for it.
Right.
Yeah, if my
I
boss-
think you're doing a wedding.
Oh, is that the day I'm doing the wedding?
Mm-hmm.
You just booked that yesterday for
Mm-hmm.
your hairdresser. She's gonna have to give me at least 6 free haircuts. I'm a trade out guy. I mean, I'll trade anything. I don't need money. Just trade. Let's trade out.
Boy, haircuts won't even do that head no justice.
Oh, now she's back. Now at the end of the thing, she finally coming back. You see this? But no, man, I do, man. Thank you for opening up your heart,
Yeah,
your
thank you.
life.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
man, I couldn't wait to have you on here. It's good to bring people on here that I enjoy being around. And I'm married, so I don't enjoy being around a lot of people, is all I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
certain people in here, I'm just saying. All right, that's episode 11. I dropped that boom. Y'all join us next week. We don't know who's going to be on. Oh, actually, I do know who's going to be on. Chainsaw Steve. There used to be a mafia hitman
Really?
for John Gotti.
Yeah.
And got saved and is now basically an evangelist.
Yep.
So join us next week. Drop that boom. You just got licked.
Drop that boom. Drop that boom.